You spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Okay, I'm so stressed out. That was the most stressful 30 seconds of my life because we were having software issues and it was saying it wasn't posting to LinkedIn, but we are on LinkedIn.
I thought it was because you're paying attention to me of like what prop I was going to figure out, but you're worried about putting on a production that Bank of Blue Valley and Burns McDonnell pays us to do. And you're like, this is serious. And I'm like, do I do pink dinosaur or do I do fidget toy over here? I mean,
I know.
It's a rough day.
Can you imagine being me and having to do all the things? It'd be really hard on you.
Well, we were talking about a little bit in the pre-show. I think the best partnerships are co-ed partnerships because you have two different thought processes going on at any time. But also, I feel I don't know if I feel. I mean, I feel like I don't know use the word sexist, but I feel like women can multitask so much better than men, like quadruple. Like, do you not agree that women can just do like 4 times minimum more than men can?
I mean, I think we both know. I probably agree. We should be running.
Yeah, hey, you know what? At least running all the businesses. So, well,
what about 2023? It has been the year of the woman, so I think we've proved ourselves this year. So,
yeah. No, I only work with women, so I'm biased. So, but Aaron, the year is wrapping up. You are traveling for the holidays, right?
Yeah, we go to New York the last week of the year every year. So the kids get to pick out a Broadway show, and then so we go see those. So this year they picked 6 and Hadestown. And then we're going to see the Taylor Swift exhibit at the Met, and then we're going to go to the Broadway Museum, and we're just going to have a good, fun time. I feel like I only have a couple of years of this left since Devin's a junior. And then I'm also going to Dallas this week. I still got a couple of vacations. Yeah,
well, one of our guests is going to Atlanta, but I'm curious what our other guests are doing. 2 Taylor Swift facts that I don't know if you knew this, but there's some people that are I'm friendly with that are neighbors with those folks, and I think Travis and his salary makes $28 million a year as the best tight end in the NFL, and Taylor Swift makes that if she does 2 shows in a weekend. So that's interesting. Then also top celebrities searched on Google.
That's not true. She makes twice as much than that in a weekend.
Well, what I'm getting at is she makes way more than what he makes annually.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And then the other thing was she was not, according to Google, one of the top 5 most searched celebrities, which I thought was crazy. But I guess everyone already knows her, so they don't need to search about her.
I don't know. I would like to see that study. I don't think that's true.
See, I knew I was throwing curveballs, and you're like, whoa.
I think you're right.
You know what? That's why you hang out with me. I'm wrong 19 times out of 20.
Send me that study, and I'll post it on the Drinks with Blinkers page because I think that's definitely wrong. Because she did some insane things this year where she actually worked with Google, especially on her Reputation album, where people used to say like Google things about her, and she worked with Google on a jigsaw puzzle type thing, not jigsaw puzzle, but whatever those word ones are, to be able to push those down to page 2 and 3, those searches, to have her searches higher. So she actually had a partnership with Google on the 1989 album release. So I think you're wrong on that. But if you send it to me and you're right, then I'll post that you're right. But if you send it to me and you're wrong, I'll post that you're wrong.
19 times out of 20, I'm wrong. That's why you hang out with me. So that's why we need the audience to chime in.
Do you know we have a whole Taylor Swift Christmas tree in our house?
No.
So we have 3 Christmas trees, and one we always do as a theme. And this year we did Taylor Swift. So
yeah, I got a Venmo you for Swift.
On Taylor Swift facts.
Nope, I'm not. I got to Venmo you for a sweater for my wife. So
Yes, I do have that sweater. Okay, here's the thing. If you are watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, please tell us in the comments. We only got this show and one more show left for the end of 2023. And again, it's been a year where so many people have done business just from networking in the comments. We hear stories every day. So make sure you're talking to us like Paul is over here. He's only got 2 more weeks of making these jokes.
I can't believe he's in his parents' basement.
Oh my God, I cannot, Paul. I cannot. I can't wait. Paul, can we make a resolution that we don't do that anymore in 2024? We just actually make funny jokes.
Don't listen to her, Paul.
But let us know if you're watching. I can see there's a ton of you guys watching on here, so don't be quiet. All right, we have an incredible lineup today. I think that at least half of our guests have never been on the show before, so that's really exciting. And I don't think any of our guests have ever met each other, which is also very exciting.
That's the most exciting part.
So what they don't know is that we play this super cheesy music right now that I absolutely hate. My 2024 resolution to find better reasons. Oh, hold on real quick. Elizabeth says, watch out, look out a better Colorado Springs. Hello, Elizabeth. For Nashville. All right, here we go. We're bringing it in. And then we're going to bring in Marvin. Stop, and left, and then on leave. Grab it. Stop. Let me make it stop. Let me make it stop. All right. Hi, guys. How are you? Thank you guys so much for coming to our second to last show of 2023. We have had 50 shows so far, Scott. This is number 50.
I don't even know when we took off. Maybe
this
4th of
year is number 50, and it's probably, we got to be getting close to number 200. We got to figure that out. So, all right. You guys ready to get started?
Let's dance.
Oh. And go first. Look, Lacey says you guys are a good-looking crew. Okay,
love that.
You keep that in mind while you answer these questions. And who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City?
All right, that's a lot. I'm Ann Wilkins, and I have a med spa called Graceology Med Spa in Overland Park, south of, so right, really close to Stillwell. But we do a little bit of everything with aesthetics, but I think that our biggest thing that we've done with our spa is we've changed up what aesthetics look like, and we've made it more of a holistic type of adventure or journey. And what we hope to do with the word Graceology is help you to find grace no matter where you're at. So there's a lot in that whole thought process. But how I got to Kansas City was I was moved here for work and opened up the first Lifetime that was here, and worked with Lifetime for quite some time, and then moved on to 24-Hour Fitness and then on to spas. So been doing it for a couple of years anyway. I'd say maybe more than 20, but I'm not going to be exact. That would tell how old I am, and then everyone know what I do at my aesthetic practice. So anyway, I do a little bit of everything out here in Stillwell or Overland Park at Graceology, and I would invite you to come visit me.
So where's your location? Stillwell, Overland Park, because for the listeners, and then what are your most popular services?
So I think our most popular services right now are our weight loss program. And we do a coaching approach. So we don't just apply like, hey, let's look at this or do that or give you a shot. We really look at you as a whole person and what's caused the weight loss. I think that's our biggest portion of our program right now. But we also do Botox, obviously facials, fillers, and all the other aesthetic treatments, as well as hormone therapy and other type of functional medicine.
I'm going to put a plug in here. The reason that I've lost 22 pounds in 13 weeks is because of Ann. I'm going to Grace.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So,
that's why I'm so happy to see her drinking that water.
How does Marvin have fireworks going off?
Yeah, that was nice.
Fireworks going on. But yeah, so she
so
like
cool.
my food log every week, and she coaches every week. I have to tell her what I've been doing, and yeah, it's really good accountability.
Yes. So, and I'm dyslexic, so I notice like a lot of facial features, or like when Jeff gets a haircut. And so, yeah, Aaron looks awesome. So that's very cool. So again, we're like, what street are you on? And then second is tell us about if the weight loss is most popular. Are we getting into busy season, or is that January?
So interesting enough, we are in the new Blue Hawk development on 159th and Highway 69. And so we are right across the parking lot from the Costantino's supermarket. And as far as the busy season, this is not necessarily the busiest season. The busiest season for us is really November. It's very strange to say that. It's because people start thinking about all their New Year's resolutions, but more importantly is they think about all the pictures they're going to be in for holiday parties and Christmas cards and stuff like that. So the two biggest months really are November and probably February, because people start thinking about spring break. So I know New Year's resolutions happen in January, but if I'm going to be honest with my gym background, kind of what we know is people make resolutions in January. They start to get committed to them sometime around February.
Okay, so I learned something really interesting today about your demographic. Do you want to share what I was so surprised about your demographic today?
Absolutely.
Especially based off this panel right here.
Well, so this panel would represent a lot of what we see every day. So 40% of the people that we actually serve are men. And so looking and feeling good is not just for women. Men want to feel good. They want to feel good throughout their entire life. So they participate heavily in our hormone program, whether it's just to look at maybe there's hormonal imbalances with testosterone or estrogen or whatever it is. They also want to feel fit. So they take part in our weight loss program, but that kind of springboards into maybe I want a little bit of Botox. Maybe I need a little bit of filler. They do all of the things that everybody else does. And yeah, nobody wants to see a really hairy back when they go to the pool or to the beach. So a lot of people like to have their hair removed from their body too. So there's a myriad of things that men do participate in. And they are a very solid client. I think what you are most amazed about is men don't ask their wives if they can do it.
But the wives ask the men.
And sorry to distract. This is my funny comment. I don't think I've ever said it in front of Aaron, so I got to get it out of the way. I'm bullish on dog grooming, except for men grooming. So those of us that don't want the laser hair removal or the other hair removal, it's like going to the dog groomer. I just don't know why there's not a spot that's out there.
There is.
That's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke, but I'm serious.
It's serious.
I was surprised 40% are men. Scott, if that's your email, turn it off. That beeping is driving me crazy.
Nope.
Whoever email that is, turn it off, please.
Okay, moving on.
I appreciate it. Marvin, who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City?
Marvin Carolina Jr. I came to Kansas City to heal. I had my own business in Atlanta for 7 years, and I needed a job, a new outlook, and I joined Sears and Roebuck. I joined their dealer store program, and I was assigned to Kansas City. I had lived all over, and so after my business crash, went back to corporate America with Sears, and that was in '97, and I spent 2 years here. And then I got promoted to Chicago, which is pretty common when I was in corporate America. 2 or 3 years somewhere, then move on. So now I'm in Chicago for 3 years. And I decided to go back and get my master's while I was there. I wanted to do something a little bit different, more community and people oriented. I'm a sales guy, business development guy, and I did that. And then after 3 years there, the opportunity came up back in Kansas City, which is a surprise to me. Kansas City would have originally really never been on my list of places that I wanted to live. I've lived in LA, San Diego, Atlanta, Seattle. But I've been here 22 years now, raised my kids here. So it is a shocker that I've been here that long, but I love it. I love Kansas City. I've lived all over Kansas City. I've lived in Northlands. I've lived in Lenexa. I lived in Leawood, and I live in Lee Summit now. So it has really been good to me, but originally just kind of getting back into the corporate America after my business in Atlanta. And what do I do now? I'm a full-time professor in the block school at UMKC. I'm in my second year of doing that, which allows me to do a lot of other things. And I just recently launched a coaching program. I do professional development coaching as well as business development coaching. I've been doing it for several years now. But I decided just to formalize it and take it to the next level. People just started asking me, I have a friend who I want you to talk to. This person might resonate. I just started getting a lot of calls. This probably happened 3 or 4 years ago. And so I would take the call and I would meet with someone, and then I would meet with them again and meet with them again. And another person would call, and I'm like, where am I getting all these calls? And so this year I really started, let's get this thing formalized. If you're going to do it, let's do it the right way. Let's formalize it, get online and do all those things. When I started marketing, and my marketing team, they started putting things out. They didn't officially say anything. Well, mentoring is important and coaches is important. And I started getting phone calls off that. I hadn't even said I was in business. People just started, Marvin, do you have a coaching program? I was like, yes, I haven't launched it quite officially yet, but I got several phone calls. And then once I did launch, which was just recently, last week or week before that, then quite a few calls came in to really take their careers, and also take their businesses to the next level. So I'm enjoying really working with that. I'm also working in Cape Town, South Africa, on a coaching program over there. My wife and I went over there over the summer, and we got a chance to meet some people at the University of Western Cape and also some people in the community. So it's been really great. It's been really great.
Marvin, you have a huge network in Kansas City. Kind of educate the audience on how you've built that network all throughout the metro.
Well, I spent 15 years with J. Dunn Construction, one of the major corporations here. I was vice president of their diversity program for, like I said, 15 years. So that gives me a chance to really work within and throughout the community, meet a lot of people in a lot of different businesses. The last 4 years before I joined the Block School, I was president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau. And that still allowed me to meet quite a few people in business and trying to take their business to the next level. So I've really worked hard at ingraining myself in the community, having 2 boys growing up here, chasing them down to their different events that I had to go to. But I've enjoyed the people of Kansas City. It's a really good people that live here, and I really enjoy that.
As you're consulting with different business owners, what do you feel is the most popular, or the thing you feel like people are needing the most to grow their businesses?
Is really understanding the structure of a business. You have one person trying to do everything. And even when you go to workshops and seminars, it's like trying to go to college and having 5 majors. It just doesn't work. I have a finance major, I have a communication, I have a journalism, and a medical. It's just not realistic. But really the structure and the process and procedures of how this business needs to run smoothly. And then understanding, most people understand what they do. For example, if I want to open up a restaurant, I'm a great cook, wonderful cook. That doesn't mean you're a restaurant owner, but they believe that. That's only one part of really owning a business. You got to know the other parts. And I think that's the biggest thing that I had conversations that I have with them. And personal development is just moving up within their business. I'm right here. I'm not really getting noticed in what I'm doing. How do I talk to my manager? How do I make that conversation to go to the next level? So that's kind of on both sides.
Oh, I agree with that. Isn't it funny when people have skill sets? I'm guilty of this. You need to learn all the other stuff. That's a really great. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that enough when they tell you turn that into a business, the dream.
Right.
Yeah, you had quite a good summer. You were in Dubai, you were in South Africa, you were all over the place. So I'm just trying to be Marvin when I grow up.
Yeah.
Great summer. Great summer.
Go. Jeff, who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City?
Well, thank you, first of all, for being on the Drinks with Leaders. This is my 3rd time, I will say, so I appreciate that. I'll start with the easy one. I got to Kansas City. I'm originally grew up in New York, about an hour from the city, Peekskill, New York, on the beautiful Hudson River. Went to Manhattan College in the Bronx, 242nd and Broadway. Last stop on the 1 train north, Aaron. So when you go there, you might want to, take your kids. Came out to work for AT&T when it was, a large regional headquarters, and thought I'd move back in a couple of years back east and stayed in Kansas City. So been here for a long time. You can guess my age. I don't care. But yeah, so that's the easy part. Yeah, I do a couple different things. One, I guess I was promoted as being the host of the Corporate Couch for this session. So thank you. So that was the first public, acknowledgement that I was the host of the Corporate Couch. So that's a podcast where I interview great leaders and about their career journey and gain their leadership wisdom. So our two great hosts have both been on the podcast. Scott was actually the second episode I launched, although it was the fifth episode. So I launched in late January, 4 episodes, and then Scott was launched on February 1st, and Aaron was just a guest recently. So, and then Elizabeth Souter, who's in the audience, I just interviewed her on her great journey. And yes, thank you, Elizabeth, for that. Yeah, so that's been fun. I not only interview leaders in Kansas City, but all across the country. So it's been a fun, and someday I'll be as popular as Drinks with Leaders, but that's a high bar. Yeah, my other, what I do is I represent about 65 fractional CXOs. So think of any C-suite alphabet soup, and from COOs, CXOs, CFOs, COOs, CMOs, you know the drill, who've had great accomplishments and have been great leaders with really all I've met in terms of them, about 65 of them. They have no egos, and it's a company called Exec HQ based in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I try to add value to high growth organizations by placing those fractional executives.
So can you give a little background of how old your organization is? And then kind of the similar question of asking Marvin, what are you seeing in the marketplace right now that a lot of people are really needing in terms of the services that you provide?
Yeah, so Exec HQ is 6 years old. It was founded by Jim Hogat. Jim actually established a fairly large network in Kansas City because his daughter and 2 grandkids and son-in-law live here. So he used his go-giver mentality to reach out to people and add value. And so what I'm seeing is I think I would love Marvin's opinion, but I think what I'm seeing is it's people are very hesitant to make moves. I think I don't know if it's an economy thing, because I see a lot of companies that need help but are afraid to pull the trigger.
But is it CFO, sales, CEO? Like what is the service that they're needing that you're seeing? I know it changes throughout the year, but like currently, what's the finger on the pulse saying?
I would say the two, for me, what I'm seeing, I would say CFOs and like chief revenue, chief sales officer type roles.
Do you know what I was the most surprised to learn last, maybe 2 years ago? Joyce Harina. We used to have on our website outsourced CMO, chief marketing officer, and I didn't know how many different companies how many different industries use CMO for their C-suite, and they don't all mean marketing. Is that with a lot of those? Are you seeing a lot of difference? Because I know, like, you didn't say CIO or CTO, right? And those are a lot that I see in my industry as well.
Oh, right? Yeah, it's NEC. Yeah, I just didn't go through all the acronyms.
Are there just more than ever? Because I feel like now there's just more than ever.
Well, I think CMO too is, chief manufacturing officer, obviously if you're in the manufacturing space. And I think the other part about being a CMO is, there's a lot of different functional areas a CMO could be really good in, as well as, even when you hire a CMO, the average length of tenure is about 18 months. So, it's a pretty much a revolving door. But I think for the fractional space, it just makes a lot of sense because most startups, early stage startups and even high growth companies wait too long to hire people, and you really need senior people in startups and early and growth companies because you really have to wear a lot of hats. So you need people that have had a lot of experience, in my mind.
That makes sense. Awesome. Okay. Who is texting me during the show. That's why. Anne, quit texting during the show. I get distracted.
Well, I thought I used word of the day and I got a prize.
Now you got to hold your phone up and be like, what was it?
Just said he won a prize.
Actually, I had a question for him.
Ask him your question, Anne. You're allowed to ask.
Okay, so my question is, as a fractional CMO, how, when they do get involved in these small startups, what type of movement do those small startups start to see? I mean, so do you see big movement in them? Is it a game changer? And would this be something that's a big miss for a lot of startups?
Well, I think it depends, and on your expertise in marketing, right? So if you don't have a lot, and as well as you probably want somebody in that kind of health, wellness, space, not fitness. But I'm actually fairly familiar with your industry. I have a family member that owns a med spa. So
is that your secret?
No, I have not on record. I have had Botox, but it's been 2+ years ago. I was in an open house and they needed an older demographic gentleman, I guess. And I use that word loosely, gentlemen. But yes, I did get injected with Botox 2+ years ago. Maybe actually going on 3. And
I've been thinking you've been looking young for like 7
There
years.
you go. That's it. I'm leaving. I've been out.
Long-term effects. That's what it is.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so if you need an outsource, see something, Jeff's your guy.
Yeah, and just one more thing about Ann. I mean, it's all about measurement to me in terms of marketing. So a lot, there's you need brand or whatever, but you really want to move the needle as a marketer. So I think that's and all the CMOs I represent, that's their strategy and that's their philosophy.
Got it.
All right, Travis, you've been so patient. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. This is my second time, so not as many as Jeff, but at least I can say second time. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So yeah, my name's Travis Perret. I own Exercise Therapy of Kansas City, and we basically help people who have chronic pain. We're a holistic whole body approach to addressing root causes of chronic pain. I am from North Central Kansas, a little town called Concordia, Kansas. And I went to KU, ran track at KU, like I had mentioned to you guys earlier, and basically got my degree in exercise science, exercise physiology. Was going to be a physical therapist, but I found a job in San Diego for this guy that was running this kind of alternative health and wellness clinic, and ended up working for him for 7 years, 5 years in San Diego, and actually 2 years in the Bronx. So Jeff, you'd mentioned you were kind of from that area, and I actually spent some time down there in the Boogie Down Bronx and had some of that wonderful pizza out there. But then I decided I wanted to move home, or at least closer to home. And so I moved back to Kansas City, Overland Park here, and I opened my own clinic. And so that's how I got back to Kansas City here. So, and then basically what I do is we take, again, kind of a whole body approach. We do assessments, gait analysis, postural analysis, functional movement testing to determine muscular imbalances that could be biomechanically moving your body incorrectly. And what happens if your knee is meant to move like a door hinge, but you're walking and it's rotating, well, that's going to wear it out, and a lot of people, are going to do the shots or the surgeries. And lots of times those can be temporary, address the symptoms, but we look at how are your hips moving, how are your shoulders, how your back. So we do therapy where we're doing one-on-one. We have online therapy programs as well, where we see clients. I got a client in Australia. I got a client in London. I have a client from St. Louis, and 2 in Tampa Bay. And so we do that via Zoom, or we do it via online programs, things like that. But we also do personal training, but it's based around that functional movement.
So you are being, I feel like, Travis, you're being a little humble here. You're actually one of the main thought leaders in this space, and you've written multiple best-selling books in this space. So can you brag about yourself a little bit more on your skill set? Yes, and how do you find, and how do people know to come see you, right?
Yeah.
How do they find
you? Yeah. I wrote 5 years ago. I wrote a book about it called Pain Free Life, and basically about the concept of whole body, posture, alignment, gait analysis stuff. And it was #1 bestseller on Amazon. And so I think since then we've sold 10,000, 15,000 books. With Amazon, it's always kind of guesstimation a little bit, but so that was pretty good. And then I wrote another one that was I worked with several different authors, and it was a #1 bestseller about what's changing in the health industry, what's changing when it comes to personal training and health and wellness. And so, I started I've been open now 19 years in Kansas City, and 20 years ago in Kansas City, it wasn't really a big open-minded to alternative health. There were pockets of us that were doing it. And then it's been great to see over the last 20 years how it's gotten bigger and bigger. And, I tell people I'm one of the best in the country at what I do because I've been doing it longer, and I've seen about every case. But we help people. I originally started to help my dad who had back pain. I helped prevent a surgery, but I had a guy in here the other day, it was 75 years old, and the doctor said, you need bilateral knee replacements. And, he's in a month, he's felt better than he has in, 3 years. And we're not doing rehab. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not a chiropractor. We take a look more from biomechanical point of view, but there's my website, exercise therapy, kc.com. I have a social media. My Instagram account is posture_untamed. And so we do a lot of exercise-based helping people with chronic pain through that. Oh, I've got to go to read the question. You going to read that to me, Aaron?
I think Aaron's on mute.
Aaron, I think you're on mute.
You need help with all.
Jesus, I'm new, guys. OMG, Travis, you need to be helping all female adolescents understand the importance of proper strength training, particularly when it comes to impact growth on knees. Question being, do you have online programs? Can you speak to those?
Yes, we do have online program. We've got online one-on-one coaching. We got an online program where we're touching base. But here's how I would dig Elizabeth deeper into that is we believe it's about structure. So it's not just about strength, but it's also about that kinetic chain. So the ankle, the knee, the hip all have to move properly. Then you can add demand. If somebody's got an imbalance, if an adolescent who sits at their iPad, again, I got 2 daughters, a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they're looking at their iPads, their heads are forward, and we've got to consciously get them off and get better posture. But if they're structurally not moving properly, and then they add that demand, it could create issues. So first we got to get that lined up through muscle education because muscles move bones, and then we add demand to that. So, but we have programs that we can do online, Zoom programs, one-on-one coaching here as well. So
awesome.
How do you address diet in your practice?
We do not show really so much diet. We don't address diet because I know people who are out there that are a lot better at it than we are. And we do have a service that is a body sculpting service. And it's, again, kind of more alternative based than liposuction and things like that. We have a nurse practitioner that does that here. But that is, we feel kind of fits in that umbrella of, alternative aspects of health and wellness. But diet wise, nutrition wise, we do believe it's important because we're a part of the health world. But we tend to refer out for that because there are people out there that focus specifically on that and they're really good at that.
Go ahead, Aaron.
No, I was going to say Michelle Robbins been on the show, and I think Travis and Michelle do a lot of referring to each other as well.
Michelle's been a mentor of mine. I actually, coincidentally, I opened my first space across the street from her in those Kings Cove complex area. And so I just kind of randomly called on her. And then throughout the years, we stayed in touch. And now, she's a mentor. And, we get a lot of referrals from chiropractors because, again, they're looking at alignment adjustment. We give a lot of those clients who are doing that, we give them their homework. So we're the ones saying, you have to do these exercises to, hold these adjustments to feel better and to hold it a long term. So we work really well with that. And we've actually even started a training program, a certification program too. So if there's any personal trainers out there listening or physical therapists out there listening, we actually created a certification program to teach people kind of how we look at the body and how they can incorporate that into their therapies. So
awesome. All right, guys. Well, let's jump into the question. Burns and McDonnell question of the day. I'm going to play the video, and Ann, as soon as she's done, then we'll let you answer, and we'll go back around.
Hi, my name is Megan Stretz, and I'm an HR business partner here at Burns & McDonnell. I work with employees to help them reimagine the path to success in their careers. Can you tell me how you define and demonstrate the values in your organization?
So at Graceology, we have three big values. One is embracing yourself, being your authentic self. So each one of our team members knows it's super important that whatever they bring to the table, it needs to really exemplify or show who they are and their passion and what they do here. So it's interesting. Each one of them I truly feel like they've been handpicked to do the job they do. And in that whole process of helping people define grace, it's helping them to uncover, what is their authentic self. I think, and so in our second value is committing to yourself. So making a commitment to yourself means that you're going to show up for yourself, but when you show up for yourself, you show up for others. And for my team members, I feel the same thing. As my job each day is to show up for them, help them with whatever problem solving they need, and then to encourage them to continue to stay really, really full and active in what they do on a day-to-day basis. And then lastly is education. So that's a huge part of why I think we win in this space is that people need to be informed and they need to be totally educated on the processes and procedures of what's going on. They shouldn't have to question what's being put in them or how it's happening or what the outcomes are going to look like. They should know every step of the way what that looks like. And so being able to provide secondary or community continuing education for my team is a value that goes every month. I expect it. I expect them to want to learn, to be in a learning setting, to seek out learning so that they can feel more empowered to teach others about what's going on around them. So those are our biggest values.
Love it. Good answer. You were prepared.
Boom, boom, boom. The question I have is, how do you help your clients, express your values and the outcomes that they have in their journeys?
So it's interesting because especially I would say the one that I'm most connected to is the weight loss or the holistic approach that we take to weight loss. When people feel empowered to feel better, they want to tell people that they feel better. And I think that we haven't for a long time as aging adults been empowered to say this doesn't feel good or something's wrong. And because a lot of us have been told, hey, you're just getting older. Well, you don't have to feel like that. There's so many things, whether it's through diet, exercise, or just a different way of living that you can actually, make your life so much better. And I feel like when people feel better, they tell everybody. And that's part of the education because, we try to fill their cup with education. So they want to tell others about it.
I love that. All right, Marvin, how do you just show your values and practice your values?
I mean, for me, it's really, through how I engage with people, ours are philanthropic, excellence, accountability, and, integrity and inclusion. But the big thing is how I engage with people. And I show them that I really care about people. That's really where I am in life is it's not just giving back, it's giving to. And treating people really nice and treating people with respect and honor and helping them. That's really, and it's through how you live. When people meet you, what do they think? What's their first thing? What's their first thought process when they engage with you? And a lot of times, by the time that I finish with someone, they're giving back. And I mean, when I say giving back, they're saying the things that I would have liked them to say. I like what you said today. I like what you did. Straight into the coaching. That's where the coaching comes out of, my core values is how I treat someone and how I help them. So it's really through the way I live and the way that I engage that I really kind of spout it. I mean, obviously it's on the website, it's all of those things, but if you don't live it and engage in it intentionally, maybe I should add that intentionally when you engage with people, otherwise it's just words.
I just have a random question. How often do you ride that Peloton behind you?
Actually, pretty often.
You?
Yeah, I do.
I've ridden mine 3
I
times.
enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
I'm jealous. I think maybe I need to put mine more in visual link.
But what happened was I need to see Travis because I can't run anymore. My knees have been, I used to run quite a bit with my wife, 10Ks and half marathon and even a marathon. But my back and my knees kind of let me down. I had 2 knee surgeries. Meniscus wasn't too bad, but my knees and my back. So I need to probably see you at some point in time.
Come on in.
Love the confidence that Travis had. So, back to being just, I just reading his body language, just like, dude, I got you. Like, so confident. Like, for me,
Marvin tells us how he's an athlete, past athlete. We see a lot of that, because it takes a toll on your body. So a lot of our clients are, trying to stay active or, they've been past athletes that, are trying to recover from that. But absolutely.
Because I would like to do more running, but I'm feel fine now. I don't want to go back the way I felt. So I'm scared so the Peloton. So how often do I ride it? Often. Otherwise, I would be out running in the streets and probably messing my knees and backs up unless I see Travis. So maybe I didn't see him.
Marvin.
So Marvin told us he played football at Georgia Tech in college. So.
And those things are coming back. When you get old, they all come back.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Marvin, one question I have is maybe because I think I'd like it if I was listening to you, but talking about values, do you use storytelling a lot of situations that you've been in to help your clients?
I am a storyteller. And I don't know if that just comes more with age. As I get older, I have more stories, so I tell them. But I communicate through stories. One-on-one, or if I'm speaking somewhere, I tell a lot of stories because I think they help highlight what I'm saying. It gives examples and it gives meaning to what I'm saying. So I am a storyteller, speaker, and communicator.
Yeah, you can tell that just not even being around you. You're just like, man, he would tell great stories. So.
Jeff, what about values for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, Travis, I'm probably going to need to see you soon. And then Marvin, you used to run with your wife. I'm usually running away from my wife because I've got nothing wrong. But, well, I talked about Exec HQ. So Exec HQ is like a real estate broker. You're under that umbrella. So we're all 1099. So technically, I'm under Pelaccio and Partners. In terms of what I do in business development.
It's a great name. It's a great business name.
Thank you. Did you come up with it, Scott? I think you did, maybe.
No, I didn't come up with it.
But so Exec HQ, you actually go through an onboarding. So Jim Hogat, the founder, CEO, runs it like a regular company. He has you read 3 books as part of the onboarding. One is The Go-Giver. I've read it many times. I've gifted it numerous times. The second is Ego is the Enemy, Ryan Holiday. And the third, and I had read that one. I'm a big Ryan Holiday fan. And the third I had never heard of, which I read a lot. It's called Winning with Integrity, Selling in the 21st Century. And it's by Ron Willingham. He wrote it in the late 90s. And it's really, if you took the Go-Giver selling methodology and put it into a method, a process, that's really winning with integrity. So I love helping people. It's all about adding value, and that's what you can control. I just interviewed Reinhard Mabry, the CEO of Alpha Point. Well, I interviewed him about 8 weeks ago. I just published his podcast today, and he said, your integrity, your word is your currency. And it just, great leaders, they lead with integrity, they care about people, and they want to add value, right? And that may be selling their product or service, or may be telling them, to go across the street to Gimbel's, cue the Miracle on 34th Street reference, original movie. So that's kind of what, that's why I like Exec HQ, and that's how I lead.
Yeah, while you were on the show, and then Aaron, I got in trouble, which was totally my fault. I am sorry, Aaron. Steve Johns emailed his CEO group your interview with Reinhard. So that was a nice little plug. I don't even know if
email closed when we start.
It was off. And then also Travis, Lacey left the show, texted me to then text her your information. So
You're supposed to put your phone away. You're
not listening to anything.
Not like that.
Done.
Hey,
Done.
you're forgiven. If you're getting me business, we're
Don't
forgiven.
leave.
Don't worry about it.
Everything
Pumping
can wait
Lily and
for
James
1
creative
hour.
revenue.
Everything can wait for 1 hour. Because do you guys remember earlier when Scott said he can't multitask?
No, I can't. Yeah.
Why? I can tell when he's doing stuff. I bet you didn't notice me texting him to put his stuff away, but you noticed me checking.
So I have fidget toys.
All right, Travis, what about values for you?
Yeah, so we're very customer service oriented because we hear so many, unfortunately, right or wrong bad stories that happen in the medical world, bedside manners, things like that. So we're very customer service oriented. So people that work for us, we try to instill that on how are we listening to our clients. We sit down with them, spend a lot of time with what's going on, the history, their backgrounds, were they athletes, what they do for a living, and how that affects their alignment and pain and things like that. So education obviously is a big one too. So, we want people that come to see us to know that, we're, educated, degrees, certifications, and even on our own, just digging into that, research of what's out there and what's helping people the most. So those are probably the biggest things. And then I think that relates to, what Marvin was saying about, you have that kind of customer service. That's, a client sits with you and they tell somebody else that has pain or back pain or knee pain that, hey, these people really care about my success and if I'm feeling better and moving better and things like that. So, we try to really instill those in, our employees and express those to our clients.
So I'm at risk here because I'm going to see Aaron within the next 7 days. So I'm probably going to get beat up. But another text message from Elizabeth to give Travis's information.
Nice.
And I sent it.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Because,
I'm going to start blocking people that text you while they're watching.
Lily and James Creative works with Travis, so it's a win-win. So Travis, when people hear what you do, how often is the response? Because I'm sure Ann's the same way, where when they hear what someone does, they're like, hey, here's my chance to ask. If I were to ask for a friend, what do you think about this? So how often does it come up on a weekly basis outside of work when you tell someone what you do, they have a question for you?
Oh, yeah. It comes, all the time. And it's gotten so much that, my wife will be on the porch, in front of our house and somebody walks by and my wife will be like, look at how they're walking. Travis, go talk to that person. Go talk to that person. And we'll be shopping or something at the grocery store. And she's like, Travis, look at their foot. I bet they have knee pain. I'm like, what? She doesn't even have a felt degree. I'm like, she's starting to catch on. So yeah, I deal with it in my house all the time. And, but yeah, my friends, family always call and be like, hey, this happened to my back. And what would you suggest? And, which we're happy to offer that advice and
Not
give
for
them
free,
that.
we're not.
So.
But there is a Drinks with Leaders discount, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
You guys know my most viral post ever, and I've had a lot of viral posts on LinkedIn. My most viral post was a couple of years ago when I talked about getting that dreaded message that said, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee and pick your brain? And it was very controversial. It became so viral. So not for free.
It's worked. I feel like less people say pick your brain on an email.
The worst saying in all of America, I've decided. All right, we've got 12 minutes left, so everyone has no more than 2 minutes to answer this question, okay? You talkers on here. And first of all, how is it mid-December? This is wild to me. And what has been your biggest win of 2023?
Hands down. It was rolling out the weight loss program and really looking at it more comprehensively, not looking at it as weight loss, but looking at how do you get people healthy. And we've had more than 125 people go through the program that have lost more than 5,000 pounds this year. So I'd say that's our biggest win so far.
I'm 22 of them.
Man, what a teaser to follow up and go visit your location.
Hey, we do it right.
I actually ended up at Ann because one of my friends had lost over 30 pounds. And I was just like, I saw her and I was like, wait, what happened? And she just looked so happy and felt good. So, and then I ended up there and it's been amazing. Marvin, what is your biggest win in 2023?
Mine would be launching the coaching program. I think it's been brewing for a while. I've done a lot of things with a lot of people. I did mess up with what you just said, Aaron. I give away all the time. Can you talk to me, Marvin? Can you talk to me? And I've done that so much over the years. I don't mind. I don't really mind that. I know Aaron's shaking her head, but let's formalize it. Let's take it to the next level. And that's where I am. We just launched it recently. So you go through all these years, and it really started boiling up in 2023. So it was really time to really launch it the way it needs to be. And so launching it would be the biggest thing that happened in 2023.
So my secret for that, because I learned it, I'm just going to share this quick secret, is to set up your Calendly based on the information you want to give. So I have a mentor Calendly that I'll send out if I decide it's somebody that I know probably can't afford my services in that consulting space. And I'm very picky with that. Or the other one, where then you set it up in the Calendly, like, I'd love to, talk 10 minutes about your needs and decide if you're a good client for coaching, a good potential coaching client. And then that way you set up the expectations that we're not giving any free advice because you spent 30 years learning this and it costs money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one thing, Marv, just totally random. What I found is people that really, really need your services are the technical business owner that's been technical, that they know how to run it, and whether it's like the delivery or installation or manufacturing, but then they got to go do the business thing. And so I find that something that's really interesting. I feel like a lot of people say business owner, but they don't describe that business owner that can bring them out of the shell of the business side. So it's really, really interesting.
The interesting part is, kind of like what Travis said, my wife says the same thing, but I'm very passionate about what I do. So if I sit down with someone and start talking to them, I have a business, my wife will say, just hold on a second. Only if you're serious, because my husband's going to dive in full speed. So don't expect us to have a casual conversation. I'm passionate, and I'll start seeing some things, and we'll start talking. I know, Aaron, and I'll do that for free, which is why we launched. So now I just say, go to my website, and then we can talk some more later.
He has his Calendly set up now. I'm very proud of him. Chuck, how about you? What's been your biggest win?
Both podcast related. So I had a goal of launching every week, an episode every week. So I've launched about 60 episodes this year. So that's been really fun for me. And then I just got, it's not revealed yet, but I'm going to host a podcast for a company and interview their principals as part of a pilot for the first quarter of 2024. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. Do you know that most podcasts don't launch more than 8 episodes ever? Like 85% of podcasts don't have more than 8 episodes out there. So
I'm just chasing you guys, 200 versus 60. So there you go.
You're
COVID.
Yeah, we started during lockdown. So we had
all good.
Yeah.
Sometimes success is about consistency, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's my favorite thing to say. All right, Travis, what's your big win of the year?
So I would say I have 2 of them. One is we renewed our St. Luke's agreement partnership. So we're in with the St. Luke's in their executive health program. So we see a lot of those that come in to do that at St. Luke's. So that was kind of neat. And then also our community outreach. We really got into our community outreach this year and going out to businesses and doing lunch and learns and things like that, speaking to their organizations about how their employees can be healthier and happier through, more consciousness of alignment, posture, and how they can decrease pain so they like their jobs better. So we're really successful this year, and we're hoping to continue that next year.
Scott, what about you?
In terms of wins, you didn't fire me. My partner Melissa didn't fire me. My wife, I've still, hasn't fired me. So I would say continuing partnerships with strong women and listening 50% of the time is my big win. I try to listen all the time, but I can't. What about you, Aaron? What's your biggest win?
I think that my biggest win is we've brought on some pretty amazing clients this year, as you can see. So I got to work with some pretty cool people this year.
I would say your biggest win is developing a really strong core, because you've become so much stronger in business, not only through Ann, but through all the hard work that you've done. You are a very, very strong foundation.
Yeah. You know, everyone on my team has been with us at least a year and a half, up to 7.5 years. So that's
There you go.
too when you find your people, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, awesome. Well, here's the deal. Thank you so much for our panel. Make sure you connect with all of them. They are all linked right here on LinkedIn, also Facebook. So make sure you connect with all of them or text Scott for their information. Apparently, you guys are all doing that.
You do it during the show. I get in trouble though, but don't do it.
Thank you so much to Burns and McDonnell and Bank of Blue Valley. And thank you, Scott, for co-hosting. We have one more show. It's next week. We have some pretty exciting guests. So we will tell you about those guests tomorrow on the page. But have a happy mid-December. Get your shopping done, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. All right. Bye, guys.